quick note before I like to start this video. This is officially finished now. I never told anyone about it. And here it is. So here we are. We're back again. We're doing part 2 of the Captain Fourleg series. So we are first going to be reading... Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. And the reason I like this one is not because he's a dinosaur. No, not far from it. It's because this is actually starting with some difference. It starts with a robbery. And guess who's the main protagonist? The guy with erased hair that I never fully erased. So they're running off and then they head into the alleyways, you know, where all people hide in robberies. So he's like, oh, let's count my money because it's mine. So they're arguing about who's the money and how they're going to use it. And then he just pulls out a potion from his back pocket, I guess. And then he just throws it at him. Yep, super simple. And he realized, oh shoot, he didn't use the potion to kill him. He used something completely different. So he ran off. He, get this, turned into a dinosaur. Well, not really, but a somewhat thing. So he's just like, oh god, I hate this so much. And then like 5 years later, get this, he's 30. And then Dennis was like helping him out through him just being sad or something. And then he went back home and he's just like, I wish I can take this away. And then he saw a superhero flying. You'll see in the next one of who it could be. So he was like, wow. And then he thought of the idea of becoming... That's the lizard. And then he's just talking to himself about being like, oh, this is really cool. And then we introduce a new character. His name is Killer Fly. We never really got any information. He only appears in this once, which is pretty disappointing if you think about it. And also, get this, he can break into people's houses, apparently, without making a sound. And so, he's just trying to sound serious. I'm talking about the lizard. He's saying, like, hey, who are you? Why are you here? And he's like, I just wanted to talk. And then he's like, oh, I have an old friend you want to show you. And who it is, it's his robbing partner from like the beginning of the book. People probably already forgot about it. And so they were talking about how everything happened. And then he's like, can we just like beat the crap out of each other outside? And they agreed with it, and they're outside. Also, where's his house? And so they were getting ready for battle, and also they both have like servants, pretty much. The fly has the killer fly has the flies, and his name is Dr. Baldy, by the way, because I'm not just calling him a guy, the robbing partner. He's got a drone. Yeah. Alright, then he was talking to himself, and then he started beating the crap out of a drone and fly. And he fought for hours and hours. I think that's an overstatement. And he's like, this can't be possible. And he's like, you guys should stop. And then his crane is a gun. That shouldn't be funny. And I hate that, but it is. So he's like, wait, use this. It's poison. It's death. So he pours it in, he has them in his bullets, and then he's like, and he got super confused because he thought it was like behind here, as you can see. And then he like was behind him and got his gun. And then he started running away because he like can't see. He's only looking one direction, and he's like, I'll get you next time, and next time I won't be so easy on you. And then we got something that never released. Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate. And it's like, the end? No. And then we got something that made sense. I had to draw for the actual character instead of the first mistake I did. For the first one, it was for this guy instead of the first one. Oh yeah, I forgot. You give them expressions also. And so yeah, this is Dino Man, and now we're on to the next one. The third. And you'll probably will never know what happened and how we continue the story. At the exact second afterward. And then so they were being like, alright, let's put this guy into prison, and then let's go. And then Dino Man joined them. He's like, can I help? And he's like, yeah, sure, you can help. And then guess who was behind the corner? I don't know how that happened. It just did. Oh yeah. Did I forget to mention his name is also known as Don't Sue Me Disney? Oh my god. I forgot about that. His way of getting more power is sitting on the chair. You know, the electric chair you use before you die in prison. So, and then the Electron was like, hey, I don't think you should do this, man. And then he's like, do it already. So yeah, he electrocuted him, and then he became his first ever design when I designed him, which is confusing to you guys, but not to me. And just a reminder, if you haven't seen the first video already, check that out so you don't get confused with this one. So what happened is that he's gonna talk to Stacy, and then he's like reminding him of something that never happened in the second one, of him fainting because I was like stuck. I think I don't remember. So and then he shows a reminder of him fainting, and he's like, no, I don't remember that. And then he's like he's gonna go start talking to her, and she's like, hi. And then wait, honestly, I don't know what he's doing. Alright, never mind. So anyways, he's like, hey, thanks for helping. He's like, no problem. And then he was gonna ask her something. I can't speak today. So she's like, hey, do you want to go out or something? And he's like, yeah. And then they both are, and then he's like excited, body's like working on something, and Dennis is like, hey, guess what? And he gave him a headache. I'm trying to think of a joke for this. An error to the head. I'll escort myself out. So anyways, he's like excited, and he's like he's gotta meet her tonight. So he had to get himself ready quickly. And he's like, I don't think I need to brush my hair. It's fine enough. Anyways, he comes out, and he's like, all right, you look ready. Also, I was trying to make that a thumbs up. It just looks very weird. And then, so after the day, he's like, took him back to the house, and it's just like, hey, thanks for taking me. And then, I gave him a little kissy. And then and then they both went part their ways. But yeah, and then there's just a strange person that's just there, and we never like got any evidence of who they are ever again. And then whenever he woke up, which is like after the thing, and then he's like saw there was a house on fire, and he's like, hey buddy, wake up, we gotta go stop this fire. So he went off to save the fire himself. The firemen meet him for the first time. He pulled a Spider-Man. If you don't remember, you are too young to understand. So everyone was like in shock. He saved the baby. Gave the lady back to her, and then he flew back. And Body woke up and he started making breakfast, and he was super confused of where he was. And he's like, there was a fire. Oh, and by the way, I got someone to read this, and they were so confused. After they read this, they said, oh, I think it was just all over the place where it just gets confusing. Which now reading it kind of makes sense. So and then another crime thing happened, and then he was tired, so he went to bed, and then Body started to go off on his own adventure. And there was an abandoned house he went inside. So he went inside, and then he got smacked in the head, taken back to Electro's base. That's his name. Yeah. That's why I call him Don't Sue Me, Disney. And guess who it is? It's Dr. Baldy. If you never read this one, everyone will be so confused. And so he took him, and then you'll never guess of what they did to him. It'll take you a second to realize what was going to happen. And so he went back from his nap, and he's guessing that he's back home, and then he looked everywhere, and there was no one here. And nobody, nowhere. So he's upset, and he's like trying to think of where he is. And then he realized, oh yeah, I forgot, I told him to do that. And then he's like, uh-oh, I think I know where he is. And then he pushed through the door, which is the second big faceless panel. And he sees footprints, and he's thinking, where does it go? Dino Man scares him, and he didn't find it funny. Like how we all don't find scaring funny. So and then he was like, hey, my robot's been kidnapped. And he's like, oh, he's probably been kidnapped. And he's like, and he's thinking, and Dino Man is thinking, it must be Dr. Baldy. And he's confused, and he's like, he's my robbing partner, and he cursed me with this thing until he saw, get this, the guy. And he's like, oh, you can say and then he's like, oh my god, it's my friend, how? And he's just confused of what to say, I guess. And he's like, surprise. And then he's like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, because secret identity. Have you forgot about that? You know, the times where you refused to give him a secret identity. So anyways, they got back on track. They going to rescue the robot, but they were surrounded. They did the same thing. They never learned their lesson. Get this, he was a cyborg all along. The general, like from the first one. I'm not going to say it again, alright? So he's like, hey, how did you get out? And he shows that that body was turned into their slave, pretty much. And he's like, oh, that's not Body anymore. And he's like, you're absolute. And Dr. Baldy came out of nowhere, and he's like, you're absolutely right. And he's like, great to see you again. And then they're arguing, and then they got tied up, yada yada yada. Oh, and then he has the ability to turn into a dinosaur. Yeah. So then Dino Man started beating the crap out of everyone surrounding him. And then there's like this thing that fell out of Dr. Baldy's pocket. It broke, and Body was turned back to normal. And general thought that he was still mind controlled, but then he realized, uh-oh, crap, he's not mind controlled anymore. Anyway, and then Captain Fourlegs was like, hey, you're back to normal? And he's like super confused. And he's like, don't worry about it. And then he was warned by his troop that they're coming and they're here. And then he's like, oh, it's your time's come to an end. He's like, yeah, how's that exactly? And then he was cut off by a beam shot at his crotch. Oof, that's gotta hurt. And then this phrase is probably gonna be brought up again eventually. And then he's got a few things to explain about how he was officially made. Where he was a hobo. He was... Oh, wait. The hobo that was in, like, the, the alleyway for the first part. And then he made him the suit. And then he sent out that troop. And then he set the apartment on fire. And then he told Dr. Baldy to kidnap Lottie. And he also made the potion for him. And then he just got confused, like, huh? And he's like, I had enough of this. And originally, he just had a gun. I gave him a lightning bolt because it made more sense. But it would be funny, just having him hold a gun. Again. See, it was shocked. And then Dino Man and Electro fight. And then he was like, just go. And then that was the to be continued. So then eventually, this is what it became. And yes, this is his real deal with it. And here we are with 4 books already read. But wonder what's next. Oh. Haha, I tricked you guys. I was actually gonna do 3 books instead of 2, like the last one, because this is just the last one. All right, I don't want to look through this series anymore. And get this, this was started an hour later. It's different because it's not after like seconds. All right, now let's move on to the story. So the story begins at the hospital where he's dropped off. Body gets to see his friend again. And then we get to the scene where all those electrons are dead. One of them stood up. And he speaks fluent English. Wow. And so he's back at home. He's upset. He's just sad. And then his phone was left here. And someone texted him, and he's like, it's probably just an accident or a scam caller. And then it got darker for it saying, I know who you are, Body. And he's, oh Lord. So he gets off, he heads off to do the thing. And he's thinking this is just a hoax until he thinks he's going mad. Until the ultimate reveal. Fearmaster. So he tangles him up and he's like, oh, I thought this was going to be super hard. And then he just goes off talking to him for a bit, I'm thinking he's going to torture him. I completely forgot what he was going to do. And then he was shot and got distracted by, get this is his name now. Get ready. The Smart One. The most unoriginal name ever. And so they brawled out. They fought each other. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot that Fearmaster's backstory is super dark and depressing. And so Body realized, oh, they're all fighting, until someone teleported behind him and shocked him to death. No, not to death, but to consciousness. And then he was interrogated, or no, held hostage, I guess. And he's confused of what's happening. And then we get to introduce Digit. Another robot that I just thought up about. And Body's all confused. Digit's just giving him all the context about what's gonna happen, and realize Dr. Baldi was involved in this all along. And he's confused, and the only thing that happened was they reduced his arm distance, you know, because apparently it's unlimited. And now he's gonna be sawed to death while telling Digit, hey, everything's gonna be cool. Until Fearmaster broke into the lab and stole him. And he's like, Digit, stop him. And that's like the last panel we'll ever see of him, because he just didn't care. And then he's like, hey, no one escapes from me or me. And they both like started working together. The smart one is thinking, oh wow, look at this stupid, pathetic lady robot, until he got slammed onto the floor, dead. And not just like conscious dead. Oh yeah, and then he lied about it because his arm length is still the same. And then he was holding on to him, and Digit's all confused of what he's gonna do with Fearmaster. And he's like, what do you think I'm gonna do? And then he was cut off because there was no one there. Fearmaster is officially gone. And he's like, crap. And he's just upset. And then he got like super ticked, where he starts steaming. And then he walked home because he was upset, and also just very, very, it's not, the word's not coming to my head. Ashamed of himself. Yeah. And then there was a note on there, he realized. Or no, he was going to grab the remote, and he accidentally grabbed the notepad and saw the note. And it says, Dear Body, if you're reading this, someone I guess was kidnapped, and it has to do with your friend, Captain Fourlegs, but it seems bad, and you should do something about it. Please hurry. Love, Digit. Ooh, there's something going on. So then he's like, oh shoot, I better do something about this. He goes up to the door, gets surprised by Digit. Yeah. A robot has a thing for a robot. And it's not both of them. It's just one of them. And that's it. Yeah. And then, okay. And then she came here because she brought a VHS tape, and they never realized how to use a VHS tape. So they had to follow the directions of how to do that. And then they saw the TV, and it was just a recording of the Fearmaster, and it shows that Dino Man has been caught. And he's like, the world depends on you, you know, like those movies, yeah. And he's like, we gotta save the world. So Body and Digit have to work together on the next Body. Yep. And yeah, by the way, these two never appeared at all yet. Not even once. Oh yeah, and this is the first Find the Difference one for the back of the book. And then there's supposed to be something down here, and I just didn't put anything down there. I mean, I guess people can use it like to sketch things out or something. I don't know. And there we are, all finished. There are approximately 5 books. The 6th one is never going out, never releasing, ever again. So here we are. Yeah. And if you like this Captain Fourlegs content, be sure to like this video. And if it can be like what, 50 likes, I'll show off my latest Captive Four Legs book that I just finished a couple weeks ago. So if you guys want to check that out, yeah, make sure to like. See you guys.